So before I became a dad, I worked all the time. And it was partially because I loved what I did. I was a radio personality, so when you love your job, naturally sometimes you want to work more. But also because I believed all these things that turned out to be total lies. Right now, I'm going to share 7 lies I told myself constantly that kept me working more than I need to for years, for most of my adult life. And the last 2, I just probably overcame earlier this year. Welcome to Done by Lunch Entrepreneurs, where every episode is designed to help you run and grow your business in half the time. Oh wait, are you done? So you can move on to other things that give you purpose. Welcome to the Done by Lunch Entrepreneurs podcast, where we help you work less and make more. I gotta watch my step here, by building your business out of high leverage assets. My name is Jerry Potter. I'm actually recording this episode while out on a hike because hiking is one of the things that I started doing a lot more of when I wasn't working as much because I was able to finally focus on my health. This hike has a really nice payoff, which I'll show you here when we get up there in just a second. So 7 lies I told myself that kept me working more. Number 1 is the ASAPing lie, which in this case doesn't stand for as soon as possible. I like to look at it as the as soon as phenomenon. And that is where we say, oh, I'll start that as soon as whatever else it might be. I'll stop working late as soon as I finish this project. I'll start paying attention to my health. That was the big one for me. As soon as I make this amount of money, or as soon as I reach this goal, or as soon as I get this thing off the ground. We have to decide what's important and start doing it now. No more as soon as, no more ASAPing. I don't know how I decided to film this uphill. I should film the episode coming downhill, so there's less panting. The second lie that I told myself that kept me working more, this one's probably the most emotional one for me, but it is the availability lie. I always believed that we have to be available for the people that pay us, for our clients, 24/7. We have to make sure everything is taken care of. And yes, we all want to provide the best possible service. But when I was the chief marketing officer at an agency, I had dinner with my family one night. It was just me and my 2 young boys. And you may know that it can be hard to get kids to tell you about their day. But my very tiny human at the time was in the middle of this epic playground story that he was sharing with me. And I heard my phone ding. I didn't have it at the table. Got up, checked it. It was a message from a client. And I said, hang on guys, let me go take care of this. I'll be right back. So I went into my office, replied to this email from my client. When I came back, the kids were gone and the dog was on the table eating basically all the food that was left out. And that was that moment where I realized I can't be good to my clients if I don't have boundaries. So I went in the next day, I sent an email to all my clients and I said, here's my personal cell phone number. If you need anything urgently, send me a text message. Otherwise, email and I will always get back to you by the next business day. The number 3 lie I told myself that kept me working more is what I call the I can't do X, I'm just a Y lie. I can't start a YouTube channel, I'm just a coach, I'm just a writer. I can't start a podcast because I'm not techie. When I was transitioning out of my career as a radio personality and getting into something else, which I didn't know what it was going to be at the time, I actually told myself, oh, I can't do marketing. I'm just a radio personality, which was ridiculous on 2 levels. 1, radio was marketing, I realized later. And 2, any of us can learn anything. Everyone who's good now at making video once sucked. And so there is no more, I can't X, I'm just a Y. That is a lie that we tell ourselves. The 4th lie I told myself that kept me working more than I needed to is the more work equals more money lie. So before I was an entrepreneur, at one point I was working a morning radio show host job. So I would go in and I would host a morning radio show from 6 to 9 a.m. Then I would commute back across town and work at an agency as their creative director all day. Then at night, after the kids went to bed, I was writing a nationally syndicated pop culture blog because I believed the more I worked, the more money I would make. And even if that's temporarily true because we're working more, long term, we will always make more by being really good at 1 or 2 things rather than doing an okay job at 9 of them. And this is even more true for us as online entrepreneurs. Back then, I saw it as I get paid for every hour I work. So the more hours I work, the more I'll get paid. But now I know that's definitely not true, especially if you build your business out of high leverage assets. The 5th lie I told myself that always kept me working more was that, similar to the last one, more money equals a better life. That was the excuse I would give myself when I was working, when it could be an opportunity to spend time with the kids early on. Now I realize, and this is different for everybody, for me, better life is time with the kids, focusing on my health, giving back to my community, things like that. So more money after a certain point does not equal a better life. Next, I have 2 lies that kept me working more that I just overcame this year. The 6th lie I told myself that kept me working more was the FOMO lie. Now, this can present itself in lots of different ways, right? Oh, I have to do this because I might miss out. I have to do that because I might miss out. And for me, sorry, we're getting to the steep part here. For me, it was all about conferences. I would get crazy anxiety because you know how they say, oh, a hallway conversation at a conference could completely change your business and change your life. And so I had anxiety over that. But more specifically, I would accept speaking gigs where I'd have to travel for a few days, be away from my family because I thought, well, what if there's one of those $10,000 hallway conversations there, or whatever it might be? And even if it was the wrong audience for me. So that's when I overcame this year, the FOMO lie. By the way, if you like this idea of making more and working less as an online entrepreneur, join thousands of others just like us and get the Done by Lunch Entrepreneur newsletter straight to your inbox for free. I'll include the link in the description of this video. And the last lie I told myself that kept me working more is what I call the people pleaser lie. And that is me saying yes to things because I was afraid that somebody wouldn't like me if I said no. Now, I never said, if I say no to this person won't like me. But you know, if you're a people pleaser, or I like to call myself a recovering people pleaser, we say yes to things sometimes that we shouldn't. Now, I'm not gonna call anyone out on this that has happened with. There's the people pleaser in me again. But because I just started really overcoming this year, it's very, very recent. But now I look at everything and I generally say no to start unless I have a reason to say yes. So ask yourself, what would happen if no became the default answer in your life? All right, here we are. So which of these lies have you found yourself telling yourself? Let me know in the comments so we can break this cycle together.